guys. Hey, we talked earlier about having a mixer in your studio, and this is just kind of a follow up on it, or a part two, however you want to call it. And I was saying that the advantages of a mixer are for using the preamps, or if you have a lot of inputs that you want to combine going into a small number input interface, or something like that. Basically, to organize things going into your interface or being your interface would be a reason. If you have a drum set up and you need a bunch of preamps, or you just want to mix it down to a stereo track, then a mixer becomes handy like that. I want to focus more on the mixer being on the output side of things, whether you need a mixer in your studio. And let me just remind you, I'm talking about the home recordist here. I'm not talking about a pro studio that's got, say, more than $100,000 worth of equipment and another $100,000 in their acoustics and building and that sort of thing. So I'm going to call that more of a pro studio, or more not our home studio, right? Okay. And I realize there's people that may have that invested in their home studio as well, but I'm just talking about for normal chaps like you and me, right? Hopefully I'm going to assume we're normal, but using a mixer on the output of your DAW, a lot of people think, well, it would be nice to come and have the faders and everything like that to mix with, or they want to sum it in an analog environment and that sort of thing. And I'm not going to debate about whether the quality is better when you use some of these external summing buses, but let me just give you a heads up. I'm not going to give you a list of all the rundowns, like the Dangerous D-Mix box and that sort of thing, summing boxes, but plan to spend about $2,000 if you're going to at least get into that for a quality interface, just to do some summing. If you're going to come out into your little PV mixer, your Behringer mixer, or whatever you've got, your old TAC mixer from the old days, and bring it out and think that you're going to get some mojo happening by running things out through that mixer, you're fooling yourself. If you've got a nicer mixer like an old MCI that you can buy at pennies on the dollar nowadays, but say you've got an old Harrison, or you've got an old Neve or an API or whatever, then and there's these Toft mixers. I'm not going to get into that, but if you're running out into a higher quality mixer, then there might be some reasoning to do that. But I'm here really to kind of discourage you to even thinking about that. First of all, I've got two reasons that I want to give you a heads up on that. First reason is if you're going to run all your channels out into the mixer, you're going to need an interface that has that many outputs. And so you're going to probably need at least 8 as a very bare minimum, probably 16, and hopefully you probably even have more, up to 24 or 32. So you're talking about dropping some serious coin on an interface that can come out with all those separate outs, and then you want to be able to go back into your computer, correct? I'm assuming you're going to use your computer like a 2-track tape machine and your mix down. So the other thing that you're going to lose is you're going to lose all your automation. You're going to, unless you have a mixer that is geared for the automation, but you can do that sort of thing nowadays in the mixer. In your DAW is so much more refined. You can go ahead and draw your automation curves and that sort of thing. I'm just going back in the memory when the automation was when you had 3 guys on the mix. This guy was going to handle the faders here during the guitar solo and move these up. And then this guy was going to use his available fingers to automate the vocals and the background vocals. And so you had 3 or 4 people standing over the mixer, and you turned on the tape machine, and hopefully you got it in a minimum number of passes until you finally feel that everybody's hand was perfectly automated. To me, those days are long gone. If you're just starting out and getting into mixing, I'm really trying to discourage you for that. Get a mixer for the input side of things, as I described in that other video. I'll let you go dig that out. But if you're looking for it for an output device, you're wasting your time. You know, I'm on my soapbox. This is my video channel, so I'm going to give you a strong opinion. Lastly, I've got PreSonus Studio One, and I use a fader port. Let me grab this camera here. And you see this guy here? This guy is awesome. That's my faders that if I really want to get into and do my mixing. But the thing is, though, is I'm mixing with my faders and then my pan knobs with hardware control, but I can go ahead and then make my corrections or fine tune it in my DAW once I'm done. I use this actually a lot for when I'm doing my videos live, so I can just bring my guitar volume up and down, and it's very handy rather than trying to grab a mouse. But you can get the 16 channel of this. You can get 2 of them if you need, or go ahead and if you really want, go ahead and get the PreSonus Studio Live. It has the DAW mode, and so in that aspect, yes, it's fine. But quite frankly, the fader ports have much more control over the software than the PreSonus Studio Live mixers. Those mixers are great if you need a lot of mic inputs and that sort of thing. But beyond that, if you want the mixer control, get the fader port. So hopefully I gave you some valid reasons to think about. Put your comments down below. Say, hey, Chris, you're totally off your rocker here. You don't know what you're talking about. But believe me, I do know what I'm talking about, and I hope you guys get some good insight out of it. And that's it. I'm going to step down off my soapbox. Let me be careful, and we'll catch you in the next video. Check you out later, guys.